Hello everybody, my name is Xaphan, and welcome back to some more Everlasting Summer. Today, we are going to do Slavya. Not, well, maybe in the way that you're thinking, but maybe not. But something occurred to me. You know, the girl with the cat ears and everything, and the tail. Oh, by the way, I also have a a little cheat sheet here from F22 Raptor. Thank you very much. Very nice. Very like. So he doesn't say anything about this. So I guess I'll go, yes, I'll come with you. So yeah. I think she is actually this girl. No, not that one. This one. The little robot thing that Shurik and Electronic were building. I think that's this creation right here. I think. I'm not too sure. But we have to reply. This is for the bad ending, by the way. Okay, so we've already went through there. I do want to see the bad ending. But I wonder how much of this is going to be skipped out, though. What do I do with this? And then go get the cards to Slavya. So this doesn't this doesn't do anything. So now this doesn't do anything either, because I don't really care about Olyana that much. I'm assuming we take the keys? Yeah? I'm just assuming. We'll take the keys. And we'll keep silent with Lena. We don't really wanna... We don't want to, you know, go too far with any other character just in case we screw it up. Because that would be very bad. Okay, so go get the cards with Slavya. Do not bet with Alyssa. Lose tournament. Go to bus stop. Okay, so I guess we just go through all of this. And then soon we'll go to where we need to be. I'm just assuming here. It might be very good. I just hope that I'll see more dialogue though. Because all this we've already seen, and if you haven't seen it, go back and watch my old videos. It helps me a lot. Go get the cards with Slavya. If you don't mind, sure, let's go. I think I already did that. Yes, I did. Do not bet with Alyssa. Because she is very scared. Consequences? What if I made the wrong decision? After all, she could really complicate things for me. On the other hand, I just couldn't allow myself to be pulled into something so reckless. I let out a heavy sigh and followed her through the door. Inside, everything was ready. Boom! A few seconds ago, I thought, slim chance, but now hope is gone. Skip the tutorial. And lose against Alyssa. I lost to Devechka! And that's the most unfortunate one. One can only guess what she'll get up to tomorrow. She could embarrass me at the lineup, if I don't oversleep, of course. She could complain to Olga. She could just start rumors around the camp. The worst thing is that everyone will believe her, not me. I wasn't even sure why, but I was 100% sure about it. I left the canteen. It was too early to sleep, and a short walk was a good idea, and I think I've already done this. No, I didn't. Where should I head to? Go to the bus stop. The events of the past day kept flashing brightly in my head. The damn useless checklist. This stupid tournament. Right now, I don't want to do a single thing or talk to anyone. I don't even want to start thinking about my current situation. I came to the square and took a seat on the bench while staring at the Genda statue. But, didn't I press bus stop? I thought I pressed bus stop. I don't know how long I was sitting like this, but finally crickets chirping brought me back to reality. I got up and blindly walked in a random direction. Oh, now I'm at the bus stop. The bus stop. Somehow, for the second day in a row, I find myself at this place. I don't know if I've already read this. I can't remember. So if I have, and you don't want me to, and you don't want to, you know, hear me read it again, then sorry, but this is all this is it for me so far. So let's keep going. Let's keep trying to get our endings, man. We need to get our endings. And maybe subconsciously I feel that the bus will be waiting for me here to take me back to the real world. Very unlikely. On the other hand, why not? It got dark already. I was just standing there and gazing at the night sky. Astronomy has never attracted me so much as astronautics. It always has been more interesting to look at the pictures of far constellations, nebulae, and galaxies made by artists than to try and figure out how to measure angular velocities and masses of stars. But certainly, I would be able to find the Great Bear constellation. But if I get lost in Snow Forest, my only way to find the way out would be that little knowledge about moss growing on the north side of the tree. However, I still don't think that would help me to get out. I was about to head back to the camp when all of a sudden, I caught a noise behind the gates. Who is it this time? Near the clubhouse, it seemed like somebody was walking down the path to the forest. It was so dark that I could see nothing but a blurred shadow. Yeah, I haven't done this yet. I wondered who could be out so late at night. A pioneer breaching discipline? Tisk, tisk. I followed the mysterious shadow rapidly, but still carefully. I was moving from path to path, and after a while I found myself in the depths of the forest, finally losing sight of the stranger. Maybe I should turn back? The trees parted before me, and a magnificent view of a small forest lake struck my eyes. Whoa! This is different! And then I noticed Slavya. She was skipping and fluttering about, letting her neckerchief loose and her shirt fly up in the air. That was very Australian. Air. Flying up in the air, mate! This whole scene seemed even more fantastic than my own presence in this camp. Slavya looked like a spirit of the forest, or perhaps a nymph. She looked so natural, more like an ancient goddess than a human being. I remembered all the theological theories which I read some time ago. This reminded me of pantheism, the idea that God is in all that is, everything that we see around. What if we were not the aliens or a time warp, but divine providence that brought me here? Indeed, Slavya mentioned that she loves nature, so it turns out that even she is an enigma, isn't she? Slavya went into the water. I was ashamed, but I just couldn't take my eyes off her. Silvery moonlight reflected off her wet skin, making Slavya look like an ancient Greek statue. The Venue di Milo, maybe. This scene was so fabulous that there was no room for carnal lust, only sublime admiration of true beauty. I was simply admiring the perfection of Slavya's form and forgetting everything else. Maybe this isn't hell, but heaven? A branch treacherously snapped under my foot. Slavya turned around, but there was no way to recognize me in the darkness of the night. Or at least so it seemed. She rapidly rushed out of the lake, put on her clothes in a hurry, and vanished from sight into the forest. I quietly went after her. Okay, stalky boy! Slavya quietly trailing among the trees, choosing the easiest path and gracefully avoiding sheared trees, pits, and snags. It was a hard job to keep pace with her. Moreover, I definitely didn't want to be caught. Firstly, peeping is just no good. Then why'd you do it? And secondly, in fact, it still remains to be seen what she was doing here. Although, it somehow seemed to be innocent enough. It didn't seem to have anything to do with my presence in this world. It was just innocent. It was nothing worth spying on. At last, we came out at the square. Slavya stopped and turned around to face me. Did you think I didn't notice you? I was a bit confused, but I put on a mask of visible calmness. How long ago? I'm not sure. Slavya came closer. 5 minutes ago, maybe? So even there at the lake? What lake are you talking about? Well, Slavya seemed to be sincerely surprised, so I simply couldn't figure out whether she was pretending that nothing has happened, or, well, never mind. I made up my mind to behave like a gentleman, as gentlemanly as was possible in these circumstances, and said nothing. "Alright." Unexpectedly easy, she agreed. "What a beautiful night." Slavya took a seat on a bench and looked up at the sky. "We have such nights to common here." "Well, probably." "Why so uncertain?" "I don't know, I just got lost in thought." "Thinking about what?" She stared at me like she was looking for something on my face, but then went back to stargazing. "Now and then I fall into such a mood at night. During the day I'm wrapped up into work, with no time to relax, while at night it's so quiet here. If it wasn't for the crickets and nightbirds, one would feel like being face to face with the universe." For some reason I didn't think of Slavia as someone who would talk about such matters. "As for me, it's even too quiet here." "Is it?" "Yes, really. Anything wrong with that?" "Well, alright." She stood up quickly and fixed her skirt. "It's time to go to bed." "Good night." She is weird, yo. She is very weird. Well, at least I went to the right place now, didn't I? That's very good. I watched her walking away. Our talk might have been about nothing, but it seems to me it has some deep and secret meaning, which could appear only here, only next to Slavya. Seems like even in my situation, such moments of peace and serenity are absolutely necessary. They make me feel united with the universe. I'd even say vital, especially now. Okay, that was some weird shit though. I'm not sure how much time I spent sitting there, but after a while I started to feel sleepy. For the first time today, I finally felt how tired I was, and figured out that I had to skip this part. So much! Okay, so this has nothing to do. Oh, I guess I'll just wait a minute. And then Olga asked me to help her tonight. Who cares? I better keep looking for answers, which I didn't do. Whoever that is. What's the big deal? I've got better things to do. Came back to the leader's cabin. Olga was lying lazily on her bed and reading a book. Semyon, what are you doing here? That's what I could ask her too. I've forgotten something, so I came back. You were absent at the lineup. Oh yeah, I apologize. Alright. Nevertheless, you should do something useful today. Just as I planned. But I have my own vision of what useful means. Like? You could go to the square to help with the cleaning. Slavya is in charge there. Strange, I'd just been there and hadn't seen anyone. Or you could visit the boys at the electronics club. They asked me for a hand. Those fathers of invention again. Finally, you could help at the sports club. What are they up to? They're renewing the pitch, fixing the benches, changing the goal nets, and so on. Honestly, none of those options suited me. Why is she always trying to burden me with work? Seriously, except for Slavya, no one ever works here, while some people in particular are enjoying their free time with a youthful spirit. Every one of their leaders' attempts to keep me busy seems to serve only one purpose, to prevent me from finding out my current location. Really, all the deep and vital questions concerning my existence are swept away by a broom, together with all the rubbish and litter. In my case, taking some time to work would probably pay off. But just like someone suffering gangrene and rejecting an amputation, I will stand by my beliefs. You know, I had already had my own arrangements. Oh really? What kind of arrangements? She bucked up. You mean she squared up? She put her chest forward and said, I will crush you with my titties. Well, I can't just tell her what I'm really thinking about. On the other hand, why not? No, it's too dangerous. At least now I maintain a fragile balance and nothing is threatening me. Everything seems that way. Just as I thought. What exactly she thought remained a secret. You probably have not yet realized how important it is to participate in social life. This is the only way to become a pioneer capable of being a role model. I didn't want to sit through another long lecture, so I decided to accept one of the offers. Sometimes the answers in this world can be found in the most unexpected places. Or at least, so I wanted to believe. So, should I choose for you? The leader's voice turns authoritative. I can do it myself, thank you. I mumbled and left the cabin. Okay, so where do I go? I'd rather help Slavya. Can do. Always choose the lesser of two evils. They say, well, of three in this case. Slavya wasn't evil at all, so my choice was obvious. Any rational being keeps his house clean, but I usually perceive house cleaning as somewhat akin to my gym workouts. Yeah, it's good for you, but not my sort of thing at all. However, I like the ideas of painting benches or of helping two future geniuses of Russian or Soviet science even less. There were about a dozen pioneers at the square. Where did they all come from, I wonder? I approached Slavya. Oh, hello, my beauty. Hi there. Oh, hi. You've come to help? Well, not of my own free will, of course. I thought it over again. I see. Take this broom. Your area is right next to the monument. Frankly speaking, there was nothing to sweep there. It seemed pretty clean to me. Though some rubbish was still laying around. It was me. I am the rubbish. What happened next? After sweeping for a while, I came back to Slavya, who was sitting on a bench and taking a break. What a nice day, eh? Yeah, though it's a bit too hot. She shaded her eyes with her hand and looked up at the sky. You're like a tireless worker of communist labor. Oh, come on, I just like to help others. That's good. And what about you? What about me? Well, it seems to me that you find community service a bit of a burden. Well, probably. Why is that? I don't really know. I was about to say it in Slavya's voice, I was about to go, seriously? Seriously, she can't expect me to just unload all my ideas concerning this point on her. She might drown in them, God forbid. Maybe you just don't like company. That's actually quite possible. There was some truth in Slavya's words. I suppose that she was good at reading other people's minds. Or at least, at reading mine. Though, how can that be possible if even I find it hard to understand myself at times? What are you going to do when this session is over? What do you mean? In USSR, a person finishing their high school typically had to choose between their getting a college degree, typically... Oh! Hitting my microphone. Achieving a status of engineer or scientist, or going into secondary vocational school, thus mastering a profession. Well, are you going to enter college, or do you want to master a profession? I've already achieved Grand Mastery at all of my professions, watching anime and surfing the internet. That's kind of what I do, actually. I always look for the best deals and prices, but for good quality. You guys will find out soon. I don't know yet. What about you? We have a small farm back home, so I want to help my parents there. It sounded pretty strange. Are there any private farms in the USSR? Where all the farmings has to be collective? But I decided not to go into details. What are your parents doing? They're dead. My parents were not a good subject for discussion. It's not that my parents are not good, quite the opposite, they're kind-hearted people. But it's not the right time for such a discussion. My father works at the local council and my mother is a teacher. That wasn't actually true. More like a half-truth. Cool! She really seemed to consider that a cool thing. I guess so. The conversation had reached a dead end, so I was trying to take my eyes off Slavya and kept gazing under my feet, or up in the sky, or just generally looking around. You know, I'm pretty sure you'll also be fine. Slavya looked at me thoughtfully. Now what was that for? And what was that also about? Thanks, I mumbled. But what do you mean? I suppose that you happen to be too pessimistic at times. Isn't that way too, straightforward? Maybe. But you're gonna be alright. Maybe. After this conversation, I felt ill at ease. On the one hand, there's nothing special in our words. In general, almost any person in Slavya's shoes would come to a similar conclusion. Nevertheless, I felt, and not for the first time, like she could see right through me. So let's get to cleaning. Aha! She smiled and took the broom. I never thought that cleaning could bring such a deep pleasure. Oh, it can! I mean, just the general thought of cleaning is shit, but then when you start doing it, you start appreciating it and going, fuck, this feels good. No, I wasn't upset because of this conversation. On the contrary, I was glad to hear that from her. For the first time ever, somebody was discussing my life without criticizing me, without giving any stupid advice based on their own personal experience, without intending to go through my head, and without making some far-reaching conclusions. I was just glad that somebody supported me. No, that's not quite right. I was just glad that Slavya supported me. In a short while, the music played around the camp, calling us for lunch. I put away the broom with a sigh of relief and a sense of accomplishment, and went to the canteen. Oh? Who's marching in forward row? It is our pioneer squad. I already read this one. I already know. Okay, so this is the one where I have to run away. Run away. Bam. And then Olga's house. Oh yeah, that's when, oh, this is different. Well, I have to go. Oh, this is the ball night. This is the night of the ball. This is the dance. I haven't seen this before, so this is going to be different. In a couple of minutes, I was standing at the square. Loudspeakers and some DJ equipment were installed near the monument, and the trees were decorated with light strings. A typical country ball. A lot of pioneers were around, but no familiar faces, so I just sat on a bench and waited. I don't have to dance after all. Maybe I'll be able to just sit and chat with someone. Hey there, sad face! Oh god, come on. I mean, I really don't want to do an ending with her, but if it makes you guys happy, I will. But, come on, man. Oh, Yana. Here to suggest something? Come on, let's dance! It's way too early. There isn't even any music yet. Blah, you're so boring. Yeah, I'm not the merriest person for such an event. She ran away. So Yana did wear something like an evening dress. Pretty funny. Hey, it's Slavya wearing a Norse looking thing. Hi. Slavya. Hey. She sat down by my side. How's the evening? Fine. Why are you so sad? I'm not. Okay, well, dancing will surely cheer you up. Maybe. Don't forget to save one dance for me. Oh, I fucking will! She laughed and ran towards the music equipment. The situation was getting serious. I wouldn't be able to sit through the whole dance party. Hey, it's Lena! Hi. Lena came closer. Oh, hi, you're here too. Is that such a wonder? Yes. Okay. You gonna light up this party? The joke felt flat. Lena blushed and looked down. Well, maybe that's not the best idea, setting things on fire. Okay, then I guess I'll... Yeah. Oh god, that was sad. She left. I hope those speakers are Deafbont speakers. Because I'm pretty sure they're Russian, and fuck me, they go hard. 32-inch sub, neodymium magnets. Jesus! Shit'll break your head in half. Looks like the whole camp was at the square. The pioneers formed large groups, talked, joked, and around and left. Asworth is playing Halo, the Master Chief Collection. If you guys want a series on that, that'll be good. At the DJ's panel, Oyana argued loudly with Olga about the playlist for the evening. And here it is, straight out of the Deafbont speakers. And the 32-inch Deafbont subs. The music started to play. I didn't know the band or the song, but if you ask me, I really felt that I'd tag it Soviet pop classics along with royalty free so the developers don't get arse raped by the people who own the song, because that would just be sad. The pioneers just stood there for some time as if not hearing the music. It's always hard to take the first step, especially if you're pretty sure that you'll be the only one who would take it. Oyana seemed not to grasp that simple truth. She reached the center of the square with a few bounds and cried out loud, "What are you standing around for?" and started to wiggle ridiculously. Wiggle is the exact word. You couldn't find a better one. It looked so silly and funny that I couldn't resist laughing. She noticed it. "Hey, Semyon!" I pretended I couldn't hear. "Stop pretending, come over here!" I kept ignoring her. The pioneers slowly realized that they weren't too sexy for this party and started to dance. It looked really silly from my point of view. Shaking one's arms and legs to the beat of long-forgotten hits. Come on, get real. Of course, I couldn't dance at all. But this thing couldn't be called a dance either. "Hey, Semyon, what are you sitting there for? Don't you want to dance?" I was so deep in thoughts that I hadn't even noticed Slavya. Not really. "Are you sure?" She smiled. "Maybe later. Damn, what am I even doing here? Why would you come to a dance party if you'd rather sit tightly in a corner?" "Okay, but just a little bit." "That's the spirit." She reached out her hand to me. We were standing in the middle of the dancing crowd. Well, in fact, it was me who was standing. Slavya was warming up, swaying to the beat. I was already blaming myself for agreeing to this uncomfortable proposal. Okay, here am I, on the road again, and now what? I examined the dancing pioneers around me. Nope, I am not prepared for this. The music stopped abruptly. Some people were still dancing under the momentum, but the majority stopped. "Don't panic." The leader went to the DJ's panel and adjusted something there. "Next song, ladies invite gentlemen." I looked at Slavya. She stretched her hand out to me with a smile. "You shouldn't refuse a girl. That's good." Now isn't that sweet? That's just sweet right there. We danced for a few minutes. Her chest heaved faster and her face blushed more and more. Slavya stared into my eyes. I tried to look away at the dancing pioneers or at my feet or somewhere else. It was a strange feeling. My whole body shuddered from time to time, but it was a pleasant shudder without any hint of uneasiness or shame. My mind became miraculously calm. I realized that I didn't want to let this girl go, and I am ready to dance with her forever. Hopping next to us, Oyana stopped for a moment and smirked. Maybe I was seeing things, but I couldn't get rid of the thought that that insolent girl is trying to hint at something. I made a frightening face, but she was already gone. "Is something wrong?" Slavya asked quietly. "Everything's fine. I mean, everything's great." I hadn't started stammering yet, but I was about to. "You're so tense." "A little," I said honestly. "Boys don't like to dance." "I guess so." She didn't say anything, just smiled. Oh, now this is just sweet. This isn't fun sexy time. This is just fun sweetie time. The song eventually finished. I was still holding Slavya, but she easily slipped out of my grasp. "Thank you for the dance." "I should thank you." I just stood and stared at her for some time. The next track started playing. "One more?" "No, I think I'll rest a little bit." I tried to leave the square as soon as possible. I don't remember how I ended up at the beach. Why did I run away? It looked exactly like running away. The dance was nice and Slavya was pleased. But something wasn't right. I just felt restless just thinking about the ball. Maybe I dropped the ball, man. Maybe I just lost my grasp on the situation and got emotional. That happens rarely. I always tried to behave and calmly assess the situation, but did I manage it this time? I sat on the sand and looked at the river. The full moon was hanging above the water. Memories overwhelmed me. I'm 6 years old. Me and my father are fishing. I cast my fishing rod clumsily and wait. 1 minute, 2, 10, no fish bite. Meanwhile, my father gets one after another. "How did you do that?" He explains, but now I don't remember all the details. I'm 9 years old, a dark, incomplete building near our country house full of ghosts, vampires, or maybe just hobos. An unstable wooden ladder to the second floor, hanging above the abyss, the hole to the basement. I'm scared, but I still climb up and down this ladder every day. A brick falls on my foot and I lose a toenail. I am 12 years old, my first victory in a video game tournament. We play a console fighting game. An imaginary audience applauds my astonishing victory. I am 15 years old. I score several wonderful goals with my heel, and a wonderful shot from 30 meters away right into the upper corner. I am 17 years old, my first love, transient images, a shadow slipping away and vanishing in the city haze. I can't catch her among the buildings and corners. The following memories came more clear, but far less vivid. The images of my childhood and youth that I saw were unclear. They lacked details, and I couldn't quite see the faces of people. Sometimes they just look a lot like a canvas, covered with spilled paint. But the feelings of those hazy images were so much warmer than those of my more recent memories. Oh, well, that was a nice little tidbit back into the past. There you are. Oh, that is nice. That is a nice photo right there. Slavya leaned over me. I didn't get a fright. Why did you leave so soon? I just felt like being alone for a bit. It was like I hid in a shell. There was no outer world for me, and I responded the same way to all stimuli. I was like the three monkeys. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Isn't it just beautiful here? Slavya looked at the river. Yeah, it is. How about one more dance? No thanks, I'm fine. Deep inside, I knew I shouldn't be so sharp with Slavya. But I was like a puppet on the string, forced to say things I would never have said under other circumstances. What are you thinking about? Nothing. You can't think about nothing. She pouted her lips but smiled right after that, letting me know she wasn't offended. You're always thinking about something, even if you don't notice it. Maybe. So, what are you thinking about now? About owls. I said the first thing that came to my mind. Why owls? She laughed. I don't know. Have you ever seen any owls? She almost had my voice for a little bit. Of course I have. What a silly question. Do you like them? They're just a bird like any other. A night bird. Slavya specified. Yes, a night bird. A night bird. I imagine an owl, a little feathered box with huge blinking eyes. Are you a night owl? What? You know, there are day larks and night owls. Some like to get up early and some like to sleep in. Her words brought me back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. I pictured my dusty room, full of junk, a mountain of unwashed plates on the table, guitar rotting in the corner, necktie hanging from the lamp, and the pinnacle of all this, the heap of dirty socks under my bed. Why are they dirty? Are they stiff too? I was indeed a night owl. Night was my time. But somehow I was managing to get up early in this camp. I know. So what are you? A night owl, I guess. I like to sleep. And I am a daylark. The earlier you get up, the more you can do during the day. See, I agree with both sides. I wish I could sleep more, but I wish I could do more. Because I wake up at midday, usually, every day. I wake up at 12 p.m. every day. And I just, 11 p.m., 12 p.m., go to work, 12 to 6 sometimes, some days. Sometimes it's 9 to 6. Come home, record, and then go to sleep, really. There is really nothing urgent for me to do, so I don't see any difference between day and night. It's just quieter and calmer during the night. Slavya, don't you have any problems at all in your life? What do you mean? She wondered. You're always so joyful, so ready to help, so eager to start doing something. It is like nothing can accept you. Why? She laughed. I'm just an ordinary person. That's right. Just an ordinary person in an ordinary place. I sometimes think that I'm the strange one here. Don't you like the camp? I don't mean only the camp. In the previous, I stumbled. I shouldn't speak so frankly, even with her. At home, too. I think that I'm not like the others. It's not where I belong.
Oh, stop that. Silly to think so.
I was closing myself off from the rest of the world just a moment ago, and now I was opening up my heart to this girl? What's happening to me? No, really, you wouldn't pay any attention to me under any other circumstance. I'm so different from you. I'm lazy, unsociable, and have no outstanding talents. I would be the last person you would notice in the crowd of a large city. Though for me, even going outside is rare.
Semyon, you scare me.
She looked at me seriously. I got embarrassed but didn't avert my eyes. Am I wrong?
Of course! You are you. There's no other person like you. You should just have some self-esteem and patience. You can do anything. No doubt about it.
I looked at the sky. If only everything could be as simple as you say.
It's not difficult at all. Let's start right now.
Start what?
Changing.
Just like that? How do you imagine we can do that?
We should do something useful.
For instance?
Well,
she thought for a moment.
Let's clean up the square. The ball is already finished.
Just the two of us? Would we be able to do all of the work?
There isn't that much to do. The first step is the most important.
I can't argue with her on that point, but taking down the lighting from the trees in the dark, moving heavy audio equipment, and sweeping. Oh boy! You haven't felt heavy! You have not felt heavy! Those 12-inch subs in the corner? They weigh 30 fucking kilograms! Just one of those without any wood or anything. My friend's weighs 45 kilograms. You don't know heavy audio equipment, buddy. You don't know heavy. And sweeping. None of that was on my to-do list. But I didn't know how to nicely refuse her. Maybe we can do it tomorrow? With everyone?
Why put it off until tomorrow? Wouldn't it be wonderful to stand in a clean square during the lineup?
First of all, I don't even like lineups in general. Hey, I understand you, but this is too much. Slavya thought for a moment.
Yeah, looks like you're right.
Even I can be right sometimes, and she can be wrong.
Then,
she stretched and yawned.
Let's just sleep on it then.
Nice idea, but I wanted to talk more. Isn't it too early?
No.
Slavya objected critically.
You sleep all day tomorrow then.
Tell me a bedtime story then. I blurted out the first thing that came to my mind.
I know only those ones I read in books. You must know them too.
Maybe I do. What a failure.
Shall we go?
She stretched out her hand to me. I'll stay here for a while longer. I need some fresh air. You can go. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, well, isn't that sweet though? That just seems sweet to me. Slavya ran away. I wanted to enjoy my total defeat first. I couldn't stand being with her even a minute longer after that brilliant idea. Bedtime stories? What in the world? That's how things are. You try to have a casual chat with a girl and it turns into a complete flop. I stared into the night sky. The stars, those small lights of distant suns, blinked perkily as if laughing at me. I turned over and buried my face in the sand. Why would you do that? You get sand all in your eyebrows and your beard. Oh wait, you don't have a beard because you're a baby bitch boy! After a moment I realized that was another one of my bright ideas, about on par with asking for a bedtime story. I stood up, spitting grit, and went to the leader's cabin. See, now you regret it. Now you regret it! My back itched all the way. Not only my back, my whole body. No wonder I haven't had a bath for several days. Well, it is really hot here during the day sometimes, so you sweat like a pig. I should find some soap and a towel. I can find everything in Olga's cabin. After a couple of minutes, I was again at the square with my bag of bathing accessories. I have to find the bathhouse now. It was easy. The building was just on the edge of the forest. It really is the best place for a bathhouse. I think there was no Blair Witch inside, but the lights were still on. And whose bright idea is that to have a bath at night? Fuck, words, I can't speak. I muttered below my breath. There's only one problem. Is it a boy or is it a girl? In the first case, we could just have a bath together without any worries. Yeah. I'm not fond of public baths, but I can cope with them this time. In the second case, I would have to wait or to scratch myself the whole night through. Who knows how long I have to wait? I peeped into the window, but couldn't see anything because of the steam. Suddenly, Slavya appeared right before me as if from a thick fog. Oh, God! Oh! Oh! Oh, he in trouble! Naturally, she was naked, just like anyone else in the bath would be. Dumbstruck, I stared at her. I had never seen a naked girl so close, even through glass. My organ reacted. Fuck's sake! My organ reacted as it should. My organ! I'm gonna start referring to my boy as... Because I always refer to mine as my boy. Now I'm just gonna refer to it as my organ all the time now. Oh, this is great. Oh, yes, this is fantastic. My organ reacted as it should. Oh, I need a drink. Some motherfucking do now. Damn, that's some good shit. Oh, it gets all stuck up in my mustache. Ugh. Damn. My organ reacted as it should. Nerve impulses traveled through my eyes and down my body, giving me the thickest cock of all the land. It seemed like I couldn't leave my observation point no matter what, even if a war broke out. But Slavya didn't notice me. She was washing herself leisurely, rinsing her head, rubbing her body with a sponge, and pouring water from the bucket on herself. Then she started to wash her hair. I can't imagine how much time she needs to wash it completely, but minutes flew like seconds. That's how immersed I was in the sight. Fucking Jesus, man. Jesus Christ, man. Finally, she finished washing, sighed with satisfaction, and walked to the door. I managed to come to my senses just as the moment she went into the changing room and left to hide in nearby bushes. Best thing to do was not to tempt fate and leave, but I realized that too late. Slavya appeared on the porch after just a moment, stood there for a while enjoying the night breeze, and walked in the direction of my hideout. I had a dozen excuses in my mind, but she went by even without even looking at the bushes I was hiding in. Looks like I'm lucky. I cautiously got out and went to Olga's cabin, completely forgetting my intention to have a bath. I mean, that might do it to you. That might. I was totally exhausted and wanted to just fall behind in bed and doze off. My eyes couldn't wait and were closing from time to time. It was dangerous to even blink. I still didn't know the camp well enough to walk there with my eyes closed. Suddenly, Slavya appeared before me.
Are you going to sleep?
Well, yes. Right this moment, I remembered the sight in the bathhouse and averted my eyes shyly. And you?
I'm cleaning up.
She took the broom out from behind her back. Slavya, with a broom and an empty square at night, looked like a witch from a children's fairy tale.
What?
Nothing. Is it really a good idea to clean the square after a bath? Oh! Oh, shit!
And how do you know that I had a bath?
I physically felt the fear taking over my body. Cold sweat started to run down my back. My thoughts froze so I couldn't think of any excuses. Slavya still stared at me in surprise. It looked like my life depends on this answer. Well, your hair is wet.
Oh, you're right.
I wanted her to swallow me up so I would vanish from this world just as suddenly and irreversibly as I'd vanished from mine.
Are you going to have a bath too?
Me? Well, Slavya looked at the bag in my hands. Yes, I am, so good night, bye! I turned around and darted back towards the bathhouse. What a disaster, how shameful. I walked slowly, trying to curse myself for all that had happened. I shouldn't have peeped in the first place. But if I peep anyway, then I must pay more attention and think of an excuse beforehand. Oh. It didn't take me much time to wash myself. It looked like the night made its own ball, or possibly a concert. The stars were the lights, the birds and insects were an orchestra. An owl hooting somewhere was its director. The sound of wind in the trees was the applause of the audience. I feel like I've already seen all this. Suddenly I heard a noise in the bushes nearby. I shivered but didn't get very scared. Maybe a squirrel or another animal. Nevertheless, I should check it out. I went to the bushes. I didn't find anything or anyone suspicious. It just seemed... With a clean body and a calm spirit, I went to the leader's cabin. Olga was already asleep. I went to bed without taking my clothes off and covering myself with a blanket. I couldn't fall asleep for a long time, remembering naked Slavya, whose image cannot be eclipsed by thoughts about finding answers. God, okay, creepy buddy, you're very, very creepy. But I'll be back. I have to go to the loo. Oh, ooh-wee, oh wow, ooh-wee. And I'm back, and I woke up with a hellish ringing, and I've already seen all this. So it's day 3. I was going to head to breakfast when somebody knocked on the door. It was Slavya.
Good morning. Have you seen Olga?
I stared at her breast. Fuck, I was not ready to come back to this shit. They just mesmerized me too much the day before.
Semyon?
Slavya was looking at me worryingly, but I still couldn't manage to shift my gaze away from her breast.
Is something wrong?
On the contrary, everything is just... breast.
Olga?
I don't know, she wasn't here when I woke up. I finally managed to control myself.
Fine, I still have one more thing to do, so see you at breakfast.
Slavya smiled, waved at me, and ran away. Still, regardless, the morning was shining and beautiful. The bright sun was shining over the space in time-displaced pioneer Camp Sovyanok, warming its residents and filling them with energy to spend the day productively. Oh, God. Okay, Alyssa, yeah, calm down. Alyssa and Olga and... Okay, so, oh, fuck, what's today? Rather help Slavya run away. Okay, it's... Is it day 5? I don't know. Is it? Go to the infirmary. Okay, I don't think it's day 5, so I'll just go to the bus stop. Seemed to be a fine choice. Don't go, fuck. No. Okay, well, looks like we're doing this then. On the other hand, I'm not losing anything. However, she dragged me along with her. Probably nothing could come of this. But the only way to get her off me is to wrestle out of hers. But that wouldn't be very nice. Nothing bad will happen after all, probably. Within a minute, we were already standing in the music club. And that was done. Boathouse. Maybe Short decided to pick up stones near the water. Because you're a loser. And why is that? Because you're afraid to compete with me. When? When we played cards. What a serious reason. Yeah. Maybe I should apologize to you? Okay, cool. Okay, I may be fucking this up without needing to, you know, look at this, look at the guide. Just asking. Quiet for some time. Stolen candies. Do not... Go to the infirmary, side option to get a CG with Viola. Go with Slavya, thanks to the girl's help. Wait, what? Wait, is today day 3 or is it day 4? I'm so confused! Okay, don't ask about the bundle. Okay. Okay, so that's the right choice. I guess we'll give Alyssa the activated carbon. We won't eat the apple. And explosions, and go with Slavya.
I'll go with him. Very well, it's better together.
Are you sure? I asked Slavya in a whisper. I wanted to be sure, but she didn't answer, just smiled. I looked speechlessly at Slavya for some time. Why is she always helping me?
Very good. Good luck then, both of you.
We'll need it. The camp leader and the other girls said their goodbyes and went their own ways. I was quite surprised that they were treating our night walk through a forest to the abandoned camp as something normal. Well, it can't really be helped.
Wait a minute, I'll bring a flashlight.
A flashlight, sure. Oh, yes. While I was waiting for Slavya, I had a strange thought. Why is she always so kind, sympathetic, and ready to help? Why did she offer to go with me to God knows where? It's always the quiet ones. Should I be concerned about her?
I'm back!
With a smile, Slavya gave me a flashlight.
Shall we go?
From what Electronic told us, the old building was built right after the war. It looked like a kindergarten or like a barracks in today's camp. It had been abandoned for about 20 years. It was now totally dark. It seemed like the forest was as afraid of us as we were of it. Trees politely moved away, grouping at the sides of the path and patiently watching us. An owl hooed somewhere far away, but more quietly than usual. I wasn't afraid walking next to Slavya. Probably in any other situation, even in the real world, I would be too scared to go into a forest without a proper path. But I tried to get rid of these thoughts. Although it was strange, Slavya probably soothed my self-preservation instincts, and my sense of reality was blunted. If it continues this way, I'll jump towards some beast with a smile on my face. You're not afraid at all, are you?
Meaning?
Slavya turned around and looked at me, smiling in a strange way, either with misunderstanding or a gentle mockery. Or maybe I was just seeing things. Well, night, forest, the old camp.
Yeah, it sort of gives me the chills.
Just sort of?
Are you afraid?
No, well, yes, but it's a natural human reaction in this kind of situation. I didn't want to show my fear, but I wasn't really scared. I just felt that being scared is what I should be in a situation like this. It was like my body had stopped producing antibodies to fight against an infection. I was scared, not by the night forest, but by the fact that I was reacting to everything that was happening in the wrong way. On the other hand, I didn't want to make a fool of myself.
I see.
Slavya smiled again and continued walking. The path surrounded by trees, bushes, was becoming more narrow. The deeper we went in the forest, the less clearly we could see the moon. For a moment, clouds hid the moon and everything was submerged in an almost pitch black darkness. Oh, you do a blinky? I closed my eyes tight, and when I opened them, the moon had taken its place again, and painted the world in the bright white colors of its night shroud. I only just realized how much I hate the dark. Finally, a clear space appeared far away ahead, and a minute later we were standing at the edge of a forest glade. There was a ramshackle old camp building, eroded by rain, rust, and beetles. It smiled at us with broken windows like a gap-toothed mouth. A silent rebuke from the dead to the living could be read in this smile. A cemetery fog clouded the whole glade of so ghosts, ghouls, zombies, devils, and other evil entities seemed to loom from the haze. I really wish I could see, like, a person, like a person just, like, far off in the corner or something, but it's just a creepy little ghost house man. This sight was enough to give the average person a heart attack, or at least a panic attack. If Slavya hadn't taken my hand, I surely wouldn't have been able to stand it. Oh, but you did.
It won't be as scary this way.
She smiled. She's so brave. When we're in bed, she can fuck me with her large cock. I couldn't say anything else, just grabbed her hand tightly. What am I even doing here? Looking for Shirk at night in the forest? Here? How could I ever agree? There's not a single normal person who would. But the world around me can't really be called normal. I tried to persuade myself that I was finding the answers and that it can't really get any worse. To be honest, nothing bad had actually happened to me during this last 4 days in this camp. Besides, I had no special reason to think that something bad would happen. Maybe it's just the way the world works. People can't live without adventures.
Shall we go?
Yeah, I guess. But we didn't make a move. Slavya seemed to be waiting for me to take the first step, but I had just enough courage to stand still without running.
Don't be a bitch!
The moon showed up from behind the clouds again and lit up the old camp building. Now it less looked like a tomb, but all the dead pictures of my imagination grew real. Visions of ghosts became more focused, the wailing of the wind and the grass rustling got clearer. Noises of the unknown origin could be heard from afar.
Seems like it was a great place before.
I looked at Slavya carefully. Maybe she was scared, but she was trying to hide it, knowing that I felt a little better and calmer. Maybe let's go?
Sure.
I stepped carefully, watching every step, trying not to touch the old fence, the crooked merry-go-round, or the rusty slide. In some places, the grass was waist-high, so any wrong move could lead to broken legs or hands. At last, we came to the entrance, and I pointed my flashlight inside. The darkness that looked back at me was much scarier than the view outside. At least the moon shone brightly there. Fucking sorry, I'm butchering the whole thing. I've gotten real tired all of a sudden. I gathered up all my courage and crossed the threshold. The inside of the old camp building looked like a kindergarten from my childhood. The layout of the interior, even the rotten furniture, was similar. Well, I shivered, picking out more and more remains of the joy of children long ago with a flashlight. If you remember the first time I went here in this episode, I looked at this little character here, and I got the fucking shit scared out of me. It was great.
Creepy.
Slavya was not only holding my hand by now, but embracing it, firmly pressing herself against me. However, I didn't sense fear in her voice. I wonder whether it was a good idea to come here in the middle of the night.
Perhaps not.
Shall we go back then?
No, what about Shirik?
She said in genuine astonishment. Well, Shirik, why did he even come here in the first place? Maybe he isn't even here.
Where else could he be?
I don't know. Eaten by wolves, maybe?
Don't say that!
Slavya frowned and stepped away from me. I was already so used to being with her that I was slightly upset by her reproach. Well, okay. Let's assume that there are no wolves. Though you can never be sure. Well, since we're here, let's search. Searching? We searched all the rooms of the old camp. Playrooms, bedrooms, canteen, kitchen, and toilets. I even looked into the closet, which was choked with empty, decayed cardboard boxes. Look! When we returned to the place we started from, Slavya picked up something from the floor and gave it to me. It was an old doll, with torn, frayed threads, missing a hand and an eye, faded from damp. So what?
I pity it.
What, this doll?
Yes.
Why would you pity it?
Someone played with her, then just threw her away and forgot about her. And she's been here all alone, all these years, in the rain, in the cold.
I couldn't really tell if Slavya was serious or not. I don't think this is the time to think about such things. On the other hand, what would be the proper time for that? Slavya looked really upset. Yes, maybe. I took the doll and examined it. I remember how I once found a stuffed lion the same way that Slavya found this doll. I took him home, washed him, and was as careful with him as with other toys, even though he was long past his retirement age. You should give it to Olyana. Slavya laughed. Suddenly the wind howled down the passage, singing some kind of eerie tune. A light flashed and I instinctively jumped, caught my leg on something and tumbled to the floor.
Are you alright?
Slavya ran over to me and helped me get up. Yeah, more or less. I'd tripped on a trap door. It's strange that we hadn't noticed it already. The dirt around the door was cleared. It seems like it was open not too long ago. We're not going down there, are we? I asked, trying to preempt Slavya's suggestion. She only gave me a sad glance. Come on, are we playing at diggers now? I moaned while lifting the hatch cover with quite an effort. My common sense was crying out, telling me I shouldn't do this, but contrarily, my logic suggested that if this world wanted to kill me, I'd already be dead. But it's only because of Slavya. Otherwise, there's no way I would go down there. 2 meters of rusty metal ladder led down to a dirty concrete floor. I leaned over the edge and illuminated a narrow passage going somewhere into the darkness. And what is there? I think I heard about a bomb shelter under the old camp. A bomb shelter? Well, that's pretty logical considering the time it was built. Why would Shurk need to go there? I don't know. Of course, it wasn't necessarily him who opened the latch. It's obvious that someone had opened it just recently, but who would be more likely to get the idea of going down there than a mad inventor? If we discard theories of supernatural involvement, there can be no other humans in this forest. At least, that's what I thought. Alright, I'll go first, then if everything is fine, you follow me.
What might not be fine?
Slavya looked scared, but seemed to ask more out of politeness. Well, I don't know, rats for example? Are you afraid of rats? Guess I shouldn't have asked. I sighed deeply and began to descend. Oh, now we've got Slavya behind us. We advanced slowly, holding hands. In the pitch darkness, the flashlight was not helping much. Only occasionally it would illuminate pieces of old newspapers and scrap metal lying here and there. Suddenly, it began to feel as if the walls and ceiling, covered in endless twisting cords, were pressing in on me, as if the passage was getting narrower. I spread my arms trying to measure the passage's width.
Are we still far off?
Asked Slavya sadly. Far from where? I've got no clue.
Alright.
Just then a massive metal door appeared before me as if from nowhere.
Oh,
cried Slavya softly. I tried the handle and it seemed to yield a bit. You ready?
not sure.
Though, speaking frankly, what could you prepare for in such a situation? The wheel turned a few times, squeaking horribly, then finally reached its limit and went quiet. I pulled on the door with all my weight, and it reluctantly opened. There was some sort of chamber behind it. It turned out to be the bomb shelter itself. When we entered, the light suddenly went on, making me flinch. Though it was likely that there was an independent power source here at the time, when these catacombs had been dug, people had been building things to last. The bomb shelter looked exactly like what I imagined. It had everything needed to sustain prolonged human existence during a war. The lockers contained chemical protection suits, gas masks, dry rations, and water cans. At the far wall, I noticed a lot of various tools, pressure meters, radiation meters, a radio, and some others. However, this place looked like nobody has ever used it, which was not actually that surprising. Furthermore, it looked like nobody had ever entered it after it was built. Slavya gave me a questioning look. Well, Shurik is definitely not here.
But where is he?
No idea, but if he was here, he couldn't just vanish. I looked around the room again and noticed another door in the wall to my left. Maybe there? However, the door wouldn't open.
What if he barred it from the other side?
But why?
I don't know.
Still, it was quite possible, assuming he was there at all. By the look of things, Shurik was hiding, maybe running from someone. Such thoughts made me uneasy, and I felt like putting myself on the other side of the door as fast as I could. I pushed hard, but the door only gave a dull creak.
Here, maybe this could work?
Slavya handed me a crowbar. I fumbled with it, considering how I could better tackle the door. Let's give it a try. Oh, lad! Using all my strength, I managed to pull the door off its hinges and it crashed onto the floor. While I was recovering from my efforts, Slavya pointed the flashlight down the newly opened passage.
There's a corridor here, just the same as the previous one.
Geez, this place is a real maze.
Shall we go?
Hold on. I sat down on the bunk, took a dusty pillowcase off the pillow, and wiped my forehead. Let me catch my breath. Slavya sat down next to me and began to study the details of the floor tile patterns. Better turn off the flashlight for now.
Oh, yes.
She blushed slightly and clicked the switch off. It's just plain creepy. I caught myself thinking that I have not been treating these events as real for the last half an hour. As if they had not been happening to me, as if they were just a dream. Just like back then, 4 days ago, in the first minutes after I found myself here. Yes, lately I might have started getting used to this world, this reality, as it has become reality for me. And that feeling deep in my soul that I had to find an exit was not so acute anymore. But now again, in a blink of an eye, the forest, the old camp, the bomb shelter, there was absolutely nothing supernatural about any of it. But neither was it anything normal, like anything from my previous life.
Yes?
Agreed Slavya. Don't you find any of this strange?
What exactly?
Well, the fact that we're sitting here, just you and me, in the night, wouldn't it be normal in such a situation to instead wait till morning and call the police?
Yes, I guess so,
she replied thoughtfully. Of course, I almost volunteered, I shouldn't have. Well, almost isn't quite right, but still.
But you just wanted to help. If Shirk is here, we should find him as soon as possible.
At this rate, we'll be the ones they're looking for. You know, he did manage to get lost here. Shit, I hit my microphone. Slavya looked frustrated. Alright, I didn't mean anything like that. Maybe he's not here. Maybe he actually went back to the camp a long time ago.
Yes, maybe.
But we should still check, right?
Of course.
Slavya got up and held out her hand to me. Seems she wasn't as afraid as me. Though I was already tired of being scared myself, and now only wanted all of this to end as soon as possible. This corridor was... Oh god! Oh shit, look at that, I've been awake for 13 hours, that's new. This corridor was identical to the other one which we came through to get to the bomb shelter. I was walking at a slow pace, carefully watching the floor and checking from time to time whether the passage was getting narrower. Look! Slavya held my hand tighter and pointed at a breach in the middle of the tunnel. It was wide enough for a man to climb through, or to fall down. Maybe. I pointed the light down, but there seemed to be nothing but ground at the bottom. I think we should check this out. The hole was shallow enough for us to climb out afterwards, so at first sight there was nothing to be afraid of. I climbed down carefully and helped Slavya. We found ourselves in some kind of mine. The walls and the ceiling were reinforced by wooden beams, and rails stretched out into the distance. Here and there, the earth pressing down against this fragile design broke through the boards, which were rotting with age, and made the whole structure look a bit unreliable.
Where do you think we are?
Don't know, some kind of mine? What could they have mined here?
Coal, perhaps?
Perhaps. We started to advance slowly. Stones would treacherously shift under our feet. Now and then, the beam coming from the flashlight trembled and jumped from one wall to the other, often casting shapeless shadows which disappeared as soon as the light was pointed at them.
It's scarier here than above.
Guess so. The further we went, the stronger my confidence became that Shirk had absolutely nothing to do with this place. He couldn't have been taken by a chupacabra, could he? Alright, we can't rule out that possibility either. Fuck, it's back here!
Where do we go now?
I don't know. I tried to inject at least some semblance of calm into my voice, but I really had no clue. None at all. Not where to go, not where Shirk was, not even why we were here.
What if we get lost?
Yeah, right. Let's leave a mark here so that... let's leave a mark that we have already been here. Picked up a rather large stone and carefully carved a cross on one of the logs supporting the ceiling. There, now we know that we have already passed this spot.
Good.
Slavya smiled.
So which way?
We will find out, god damn it. Here we go, finally made it to the door. After another turn, the flashlight lit up an old wooden door. Well, at least that's something. To tell the truth, I was so tired of wandering around this mine that I had completely stopped thinking about Shirk. I only wanted to find an exit as soon as possible.
What's behind it?
We're just about to find out. Past the door, there was a small chamber which looked like either like the utility room of a boiler house, or like one of the bomb shelter's rooms. The floor was littered with empty bottles, and the walls were painted with a mess of graffiti, which meant that other people had more than once visited this place before us. Although from the look of things, they had done so rather long ago. I was running the flashlight's beam around the room, trying to check every part of it, when suddenly I found Shirk curled up in the corner.
Shirk!
Cried Slavya. However, it looked as if he was not paying any attention to us. Here you are. Been looking for you all night. Why in the world did you come here? Shirk looked up to me with hazy, unseeing eyes.
And who are you, brah?
What do you mean, who are you? Get up and let's go already.
I'm not going anywhere with you, brah.
Shirk turned away and stared into the darkness again.
You want to trick me again? You'll make me go in circles through the tunnels, won't you? Yes, you will. I know you for what you are, brah.
Shirk's voice turned into an infernal whisper. Cut this nonsense out already. I wanted to approach him and pull him upright, but Slavya stopped me.
He's not quite himself.
Well, I'm not quite myself either. You wanted to hear all night. You sure won't be quite yourself. She shook her head reproachfully and slowly went up to Shirk while carefully staying in the light.
It's alright. It's me, Slavya. For real, brah?
Shirk looked at her and immediately started sobbing quietly.
Of course. Who else could it be? And that's Semyon with me. We came to find you. Everything's fine now. Are you really not them, brah? Certainly not. Where us?
He tried to get up, but he was apparently disoriented and would have fallen if not for Slavya, who caught him by the arm.
Easy there. Careful.
When they came up to me, I said, "Alright, time to get out of here."
We can't go back, brah.
Back where? Into the mine?
Yes, brah.
Shirk was speaking calmly, but at the same, his voice was trembling slightly. Why is that?
It's where they are, brah.
Who are they?
The voices, brah.
What voices? I was starting to lose my patience. This place and this situation certainly weren't normal. But if there had been any paranormal here, then, by the laws of horror cinema, it should have been long since showed its face by now.
Calm down, Shirk. Just tell us everything in detail.
He took a few deep breaths and started.
I needed some spare parts for the robot, and I heard that there was a bomb shelter in the old camp, brah. And there's usually a lot of different equipment in the bomb shelters. It's old, of course, but worth disassembling. You can always find coils, resistors. So when early in the morning, I thought I could finish quickly and get back by breakfast. I got everything needed, brah.
He took some light bulbs and wires out of his pocket and showed them to us.
But then, up there in the bomb shelter, I heard some sounds from behind the door. Something like moans or wailing, brah. At first I got scared, but then I thought that a person could be in danger, so I went there. And here was this mine, this damn maze. I got completely lost, brah. And the voices always telling me something, sometimes shouting, sometimes whispering, and I could never make out the words, brah.
He was ready to burst into tears, but Slavya patted him gently on the head, and Shirk continued.
Anyway, I found this room. At least you can't hear them, brah.
So you decided to sit and wait for rescue, like in a B film? I asked sarcastically. Slavya shot an angry glance at me. Well, in any case, it's time to get out, if there are no objections.
Come, I know a shortcut, brah.
A shortcut?
Yeah, you know, I walked all over this place, brah.
Alright. Well, that time he didn't try to kill us. Shirk did not lie. Indeed, after wandering for just about 2 minutes in the mine, we found ourselves under a grate, through which we could see the sky. Then why didn't you get out yourself?
Try it, you'll see, brah.
I put myself up on the grate a few times. It's true, you can't break it just like that. Gotta use something heavy. I looked down at Slavya and Shurk.
Try the flashlight, maybe.
The flashlight. I fumbled with it. It was not one of those cheap Chinese fake ones from the 90s, which I used to have a lot of in our summer cottage. No, it was a real Soviet durable metal flashlight. Not a hammer, of course, but I tried it hard enough. I swung it and started smashing at the grate, aiming for the spots where it was attached to the wall. Soon I got lucky. I heard cracking sounds and a few bolts fell down. Lucky! A minute later, I was lying on the grass under the monument and breathing in the fresh night air with delight. Although after the mine, any air would seem fresh.
Well then, bro, I'll be going. Thank you.
Shirk looked a bit lost. I eyed him questioningly for a bit, but ended up saying nothing and just waved my hand for a goodbye. After all, I had neither the strength nor the will to talk to him. And what would I say to him? Scolding him now is no use, and the same probably goes for trying to learn anything.
What a night.
Slavya was sitting next to me and looking dreamily at the moon. Right, so if someone told me just a week ago that I would go to a pioneer camp and would even have to crawl through bomb shelters...
But it was fun.
In a way. There was indeed something amusing about all this. But there was also something strange. During the last few hours, absolutely anything could have happened to me, but in the end, nothing at all had happened. In a couple of years, I would probably remember this as just a funny incident from childhood. If I lived that long. What do you think? Did he really hear something there?
I don't know. It's possible, of course. But most likely it was just his imagination. In such a situation, anyone could start imagining things.
That was not only the most logical explanation, but also most probable one. Because nothing had happened to me and Slavya. Well, I for one think he should go see a psychiatrist.
Guess he should.
Slavya laughed. Alright.
Alright, time to go to bed.
Aye. I felt like I needed to say something to Slavya. I was not sure that I wanted to, but I could feel the need. Thank you.
For what?
She gave me a surprised look. I wouldn't have managed it without you.
It was nothing.
Slavya blushed. I was in her debt. Again. I wonder how I could repay her, at least partially, for all that she has done for me. I stared at the night sky, slowly falling asleep. All of today's adventures left me so tired that I had no more strength left. You know, under different circumstances, I would surely confess my love to you, I said, losing touch with reality. Thoughts usually work much faster than common sense, but Slavya wasn't there anymore. It's probably for the best. At least she didn't hear. That was strange. Why did she leave without saying goodbye? Well, whatever. I'll sleep on it and see in the morning. I was so tired that I barely made it to the camp leader's cabin. But there was a light in the window. That means she was waiting for me. And that, in turn, means that I'm in for a lecture again. And this time, it will just be pointless as ever. I had absolutely no desire to discuss whether I was right or wrong. The deck chair was standing nearby was beckoning me like a friend, as if suggesting I should sleep in it, forgetting about the mind Shurk, the camp leader. Ah, she came out. Here you are, I said blankly, looking at my cherished deck chair.
Semyon!
Yeah, we found Shurk. Slavya will give you the details tomorrow. Now I'd really like to sleep. She looked at me confusedly for a moment, then replied,
Oh well, fine.
It really seems like she doesn't really care, man. I don't know if it's mentioning Slavya played its role. But half a minute later, I was already in my bed. The events of the day kept turning over for a short while in my head, but soon it started to ache, and it was as if my consciousness switched to safe mode and started to reboot. Creepy. Very creepy. Day 5. So what do I need to do for day 5? Go to the infirmary. We ran. Bam. And okay, so I can go to the infirmary. Side option to get a CG with Viola that you can't get otherwise. Okay. I don't know what a CG is. And skip all this stuff. Oh, I probably already got it. Go with Slavya. Yes, I will. And then, thanks to the girl's help. Okay, but that's not all. Blah, 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 blah. Do nothing, just stay seated. Okay. So I'll just go there then. Yeah, that robot before. It was that robot before. I think that's the. I think that's this girl here, which is. Yeah. So oh god, so there has to be something to do with that then if she's in it. It's really weird. Infirmary, and then library, cake stuff. Probably did a bad, but that's okay. I was looking for the bad ending anyway. And again, I don't know why Miku was there. And skip. Oh yeah, do nothing, just stay seated. All I was doing was watching the fire. There is a saying that claims that one could watch it forever as well as running water. But there was also some third thing there. What was that? One could watch 3 things forever: burning fire, running water, and how other people work. The camp leader pulled me out of my daydreaming. Semin, don't you think that's too early to relax? But what else would I need to do? I honestly could get Olga wanted from me. I don't know. She stopped for a moment. But if there is something to be done, then do it without hesitation. She smiled ambiguously and went back to the fire to throw a few branches on. After those words, I'm completely sure that she treats me like a personal slave. Or at least, like I'm a free labor force, which is, strictly speaking, the same thing. I sighed and put my head down on my hands, hoping my torments would be over for today. Someone patted me on the shoulder. I looked up and saw Shuriken Electronic, who sat next to me. What do you want? I asked tiredly. Don't be sad, brah. Is there anything better to do? Look, we've been discussing the possibilities for the advancement of Cybernetics Club with Olga, bruh. And there is a problem. We need more guys, bruh. If you could. He hesitated. Advancement, and those guys are incompatible with each other? I said nothing and started to look over at the pioneers around me instead. Well, brah? I don't have time. Can't you see that I'm always busy with the camp leader's errands? Yeah, I guess you're right, brah. It's kind of embarrassing how it all went today with Olyana. I looked at him with surprise. It seems that Shirk blames himself for the cake incident. Yeah, it is. Oh, good. All the pioneers seemed to be here, but I couldn't spot Slavya anywhere. I think she's angry with me, bruh. Who? I asked absently. Olyana. Maybe I should apologize, bruh. No, it's not your fault. We sat silently for a while, and then I stood up and said, my legs are numb, I'd better take a walk. They made no reply. I made a few circles around our improvised camp, noticing the close looks of the camp leader following me. Looks like Olga couldn't wait to come up with some kind of new task for me. I haven't even found Slavya anyway, maybe I should go try and find her? On the other hand, I felt sorry for Olyana every time I recalled her upset face. Maybe this hike isn't the most entertaining thing ever, but sitting there all alone isn't any better either. But at the same time, I didn't want to go anywhere. I'm pretty sure, try to find Slavya? Yeah? Try to find Slavya. I'm really interested in where Slavya has gone. Though, I also want to leave this place as fast as possible, and if not to finally lay down and sleep, then at the very least to spend some time alone, away from all these pioneers and Olga, who just couldn't wait to occupy me with something again. I picked a good moment and fled from the forest. Night had fallen onto the camp. An absolutely normal and unremarkable night. One of those nights when the dark sky, stars, or crescent moon don't trigger any special emotions, when the crickets chirping and the singing of nightbirds seem more like an everyday routine than nocturnal course. I wandered around the forest with no special purpose, trying not to go too far from the camp. After all, there's a chance to meet Olyana out there, and that natural disaster would probably be even worse than the camp leader.
I sat down on a fallen tree and started to think. Why is all this happening to me? Why do I keep getting myself into foolish situations every time and everywhere? Even having suddenly appeared in a weird pioneer camp in the middle of nowhere, I don't get to become a subject in an experiment. A victim of a sick cosmic mind, or a participant in an intergalactic war on the side of a group suicide of suicide-prone pacifists, like a regular hero of science fiction. No, I get to hide in a night forest from a raving camp leader and her workhorse pioneers. The stars in the sky were shining brightly. Perhaps they give their light not only to me in this camp, but also shine on the city where I was born, where my old home is. It was as if a pain settled in my chest. Oh, okay. I envisioned my old flat, clearly, and a detestable burning started making its way from my stomach to my throat. No, it was not wistfulness, more like a sad reminiscence. Because despite all that's happened, I've felt more alive in less than 5 days here than I have for the last several years there. Now I really wasn't sure if I wanted to get back. The one question still ate at me, how and why I ended up here. It flared up yet again in my mind. I haven't spent much time seeking answers or even just thinking about my situation lately. My thoughts were occupied with everyday routine affairs, and now in order to break away and be able to wish to stay here for good, I need to understand the nature of this place. It's just that even a nightingale in a golden cage has a right to know how and by whose will he got in there. And after that, to make the choice whether to stay or not, probably I would have been lost in my existential thoughts for a long time. But I heard voices approaching Olga and the pioneers. Looks like they're proceeding with their hike. I headed to the camp at a fast pace. I have no desire to go back to the camp leader's cabin because I would surely be scolded. Waiting for it is much worse. Soon enough, I've arrived at the beach. And I wasn't alone here. A pioneer uniform was lying on the sand. A girl's one. But no one seemed to be swimming in the water. I almost thought it was some new devilry when suddenly a voice came from behind. Skipping out on the hike? I thought you were still in the woods. Oh, she almost naked. I turned around and saw Slavya in a bikini. Sorry, I guess I interrupted you. That's okay. I'm almost done. Why did you decide to have a swim during the night? Oh well, is it prohibited? She smiled. Well, no, it's just... Won't Olga mind you leaving early? But you did the same. Slavya gave me a quick glance. Yeah, I did. I sat down on the sand and stared at the river. You don't like the hike. You didn't like the hike, did you? No, it's not that. I just want to be alone for some time. And I've interrupted you. No, not really. That's not like you at all. What are you talking about? Well, to leave like that. Well, I'm not a robot that can only act according to a predefined program. She laughed. Yeah, that's right. I was still puzzled, and my fatigue was also becoming stronger and stronger. My mind was absolutely blank. To be precise, it was so heavy and full so that not even a single idea would have the chance to dwell there. If I would compare my brain at its prime to a broad highway full of speeding thoughts overtaking each other and causing giant chaotic crashes, then now it's nothing but a forgotten tiny path in a distant desolate forest, which is only used in times of absolute necessity. So I said the first thing that crossed my mind. Don't you think it's all pretty strange here? Strange? Everything that happens here. It's the ideal model of a pioneer camp. Of course, it's not like I know a lot about them, but it looks exactly like I imagined it. What are you talking about? Slavya glanced at me perplexedly. Did you ever feel that you're not where you belong? I don't know. More precisely, not where you were meant to be at all. As if thousands of kilometers away from home, or even in another galaxy. I don't understand you. We're similar in this. I lay down on my back and looked at the stars. What would you think if I told you that I'm an alien from the future? Are you? Slavya asked in dead earnest. Well, let's assume I am. How should I return to my time? Do you really want to? Yeah, all the conversations with her that have to do with my situation. Even the slightest hints of it always end up at the same place. It's like she's offering me a chance to stay, almost insisting on it. Well, let's say that I'm not sure. There, as we could call it, everything is like home to me, or rather more familiar. Practically, everything is known to me and I'm prepared for any situation, and here, it's the other way around. Literally, every little thing comes as a surprise and everything's different. Is it really that bad? I wouldn't call it bad. Unfamiliar, unclear. Sometimes it can be hard to change something, especially for people with my personality. But what do you really want? To start with, I can't answer that question until I find out exactly where here is. Then go and find out. If only it was that easy. But what's so difficult about it? Everything's difficult. I don't even know where to start. And I'm constantly being distracted. You're talking about it so seriously. It's almost like it's real. She laughed. Who knows? Pretty long silence followed. Suddenly Slavya sneezed. Bless you. Thanks! It wasn't a good idea to swim at night. You could get ill. Hurry to your cabin. It's cold out here. It's nothing. I'd rather sit here with you a bit more. Now just let me dress. Well, I was certainly flattered, but... Let's go. Let's go. I'll walk with you. But we didn't even walk a dozen steps before Slavya grasped my arm. What's the matter? Oh, I suddenly felt dizzy. I touched her forehead. It was burning. I was never able to measure body temperature by touch, but in this case it was obvious. I told you. Achoo! Come on, come on. No, I could infect Xenia. Listen, we better go to the infirmary. And what would you do in the infirmary at night alone? That's nonsense. No, it's not nonsense. If you don't want to help, I'll go by myself. She let go of my hand and was ready to leave. Don't get upset. Put this on, it's cold. I handed her my sweater, which I had brought with me on the hike. Finally found some use for it. Good boy. Thanks. She pulled the sweater on and gave me such a tender and caring look that I just couldn't argue with her anymore. Okay, fine, the infirmary it is, as you say. 5 minutes later, I was standing by the infirmary door and Slavya was picking out the right key. There's a cute little kitty cat down there. It's so cute and adorable. Or an owl. It's either a kitty cat or an owl. I still considered this idea quite foolish. Nobody ever died from the common cold. At least not in the past century. I couldn't see any good reason to spend the night in the infirmary. Apart from good sexy time? Finally, Slavya opened the door and leaned on my arm. I'm still a bit dizzy, she said guiltily. Slavya landed on the bed. I sat on a chair nearby. Still listened, alone for the whole night in the infirmary. After all, at least Xenia could get you a glass of water if you needed one. She wouldn't catch the illness. She's young and strong. It's alright. I don't want to bother anyone, and the nurse will come tomorrow. Suddenly I imagined myself in Slavya's place. Imagined that I'd spend the whole night here, alone. Shivers ran down my spine. Listen, maybe I can stay with you for a while? I owed a lot to Slavya, and in fact, I didn't even want to leave. What for? Everything will be fine. Thanks for walking me over. You should go and get some sleep. I still think it's fine. For a moment I thought, of course, nothing terrible will happen to her here, but I myself would feel more relaxed if I stayed with her. I think... Oh, come on. Slavya cried out as if offended. You won't throw me out, will you? I smiled slyly. Alright, but if you get infected, you only have yourself to blame. I was happy with my little victory. Okay, then what shall we do? There should be some playing cards in the chest. Durek? In fact, I didn't know any other games except that one and poker. Okay. We spent a lot of time playing. I completely lost the track of time. We chatted, laughed a lot. Slavya didn't seem ill at all. Then midnight came. Time to sleep? Probably. But where are you going to go? She gazed at me. Come on. You shouldn't be sitting in here with me. I can do it anyway. At that moment, I could even fall asleep standing up. Slavya watched me for some time and then drew the curtain and said, Good night. Night. Sleepy boy. Okay. I lowered my head on my arms and fell asleep in an instant. Despite being exhausted, I slept uneasily. It was more of a slumber. My awareness kept leaving me and returning again. The best possible state for we were dreaming something psychedelic. Bus number 410 drove past the room. It was snowing from the ceiling. My computer's monitor suddenly rose from the middle of the table. Wallpaper blended through the walls, rubbish piles rose through the floor, and my old bed materialized in the corner. I was in my old flat again. The scenery changed to that of my hometown. It was like I was running through endless hordes of people, bustling in and out, and then the darkness fell on me. Primal, universal darkness. I jumped up in terror. I was sweating like a river. Slavya was looking at me wildly from the bed. Just a bad dream. I attempted to smile. You were screaming. Screaming? What? I don't know. It was incomprehensible. The clock only displayed... Wow, 30 minutes past midnight. That was very quick. Semyon. Huh? I'm freezing. Slavya was rubbing the arms of her sweater, shivering. Hang on, I'll find a blanket. I searched through one cabinet after another, swearing to myself about how the damn infirmary had nothing to cover up the patients. I'm sorry, there's nothing here. Wait, I'll run and fetch something. You don't have to. Would you just lay here with me? It'll be much warmer. She was absolutely serious. Her voice sounded so piteous that for a second I was left breathless. Are you sure that it is okay? So it's not? She asked, blushing. No, why? Oh, well that's sweet. I slowly took off my shoes and lay on the very edge of the couch, trying to occupy as little space as possible, trying to shrink and stop breathing. Slavya gently embraced me and rested her head on my chest. Yeah, that's better. She purred, like a cat, because she was a cat, because she was real. I was unable to say anything and just lay there calmly. Very good. Thank you. For what? Slavya kept her eyes closed and seemed ready to fall asleep at any second. For being here. It's fine. 2 minutes ago she was desperately trying to get rid of me. No, really. Then you're welcome. She said nothing, but I was sure that Slavya smiled. Contact us anytime, as they say. You're so kind. You care so much. Well, I try. You're a good friend. Friend? Well, yeah, probably. Somehow this word hit me painfully. On the other hand, there was no reason to believe that I was something more to Slavya than just a friend. What are these thoughts about anyway? You too. I just couldn't bring myself to find the right words. What's up with the you too? It's been a pleasure dealing with you. We hope for further mutual beneficial cooperation. Oh yeah, it's cool being friends with you too. Let's go and play in the sandbox. This was twice as hard to endure with Slavya lying right next to me. Can't run, I can't hide, and even without her looking me in the eyes, I know that she sees right through me. You're distressed by something, aren't you? No, I'm fine. But I can tell that you are. Well, maybe. Want to talk about it? Well, not really, in fact. There's nothing really to talk about. Then you don't really know why you're upset? Yeah, probably. Why get upset in the first place? Slavya laughed. I guess I shouldn't. That's great. She hugged me even harder. Not cold now. I'm fine. Just tell me if you're not comfortable. No, it's okay. Like that time on the boat? My muscles, as if remembering that rowing competition, reminded me of it with a dull ache. It's totally different. Okay. She said slyly and raised her head a bit. So everything is fine? Yeah, perfect. I started to worry. Slavya surely wanted something from me. Wanted me to do or say something, but what? Are you sure? Yeah, probably. Well then, have a good night. You too. Oh, well isn't that sweet? After a while she fell asleep. I checked the clock out of the corner of my eye. It was only 1 a.m., and that meant that I still had to lie in this position until morning. I wasn't really concerned about my arm going numb, just being so close to Slavya in such a dangerous proximity I couldn't sleep at all. Various thoughts were invading my head. Did she really consider this whole situation normal? Oh!
Just when I was thinking how bad it would be if anybody found us, the door opened, the light switched on, and Olga rushed in. My heart jumped and stopped for a moment.
Semyon,
started the camp leader in a diabolically calm voice.
I've been searching for you everywhere, and you escaped from the forest ahead of time, didn't come to the cabin to sleep, and now you're seducing our best pioneer.
Slavya instantly woke up. She was staring at the camp leader with sleepy eyes for a few seconds, and then instantly understood what was going on and jumped from the bed.
Olga, it's not what you think. I just fell ill and Semyon walked me here, and then I got cold, and I told him to go to his cabin. Oh yeah, sure. So you're sick, are you?
I am, answered Slavya humbly.
Then you have to get treatment. She watched me menacingly. And you, get up and follow me.
I understand that arguing was not an option and left the infirmary not even looking at Slavya. We reached the square without saying a word. Olga viciously looked over at me and said,
Time to go home. I need to have a serious talk with you.
I felt awful the whole way. Camp leader silently followed me. I think that once again I've gotten into a stupid situation which will be perceived totally wrong by everybody. Nothing to discuss. What if I were in Olga's place? Two teenagers cuddling in the empty infirmary at night. It's hard to come up with any apologies. The worst thing is that all these things always happen specifically to me. I always considered myself to have an analytical mind. However, I rarely got to put it into practice. We entered the cabin, and the camp leader continued the interrogation.
Would you care to explain yourself?
She seemed to have calmed down a bit. At least the side of her character was appealing. She was, of course, an impulsive woman, but she also cooled down quickly. Slavya already told you everything.
You expect me to believe that?
Can't force you to believe it, but I'm not going to invent any excuses either, because it's the truth. She looked at me some time and then said,
Tomorrow I will decide what to do with you.
The camp leader turned off the light, I rolled myself in the blanket, not even bothering to undress, and turned to face the wall. Interestingly, why does she only blame me for what happened? I wasn't there alone after all. Slavya is a role model pioneer, of course, but no, I didn't intend to shift the blame to her. I just felt too ashamed for getting into an idiotic situation once again. Involuntarily, with no malicious thoughts, not expecting any trap. I could lay there pitying myself for a long time, but fatigue overtook me and I blanked out. So, you blanked out, and day 6, and we have Slavya on the mind. Yes, we do. Anything different? I didn't sleep well. I kept waking up a minute or two and then dropping off again. I didn't dream much, just some grotesque images forgotten by morning. Olga woke me up.
Wake up already.
I rubbed my eyes open and looked at her questioningly. What time is it?
Late enough.
My whole body ached and my head was heavy like a bowling ball.
Pull yourself together and go wash yourself out right now.
So, I'm sorry, but I think I might leave this here, because I've been standing for about 2 hours now, and I'm a bit, and after work, I'm a little bit, tired and everything, so I will continue this tomorrow, and don't worry, I'll do the good ending tomorrow, don't you worry. So remember to like, subscribe, comment, click on that notification button. I'll see all of you beautiful people in the next video. And thank you, F22 Raptor. I promise I'll get it done. Bye-bye.